Hi, my name is Sarah Cimino. I'm a theatrical makeup artist. I supervise the wig and makeup department at the Juilliard School, and I also design makeup for Austin McCormick's burlesque dance company, XIV. I've also recently designed makeup for the Broadway production of Moulin Rouge. Today we're going to be creating makeup looks inspired by burlesque, and I'm so lucky to have burlesque performer Lillian Lace here. She's magnificent.
Thank you so much. I work with company XIV. I'm in the latest production of Queen of Hearts, and I play the caterpillar, and I'm very excited to be here.
So the look we're going to create on Lillian is inspired by burlesque's vaudeville history. We're going to do sort of a Victoria, half glamorous showgirl, half debonair gentleman. So we're going to get started. The first product I'm going to use is strobe cream. It creates a really incredible iridescence on the skin. Because burlesque is such a heightened visual experience, I really love to give the skin sort of a heightened special sheen. I like face and body because it's really sheer. With burlesque, because there's so much skin exposed, I like the skin on the face to also feel not too heavy and not too matte. So it gives a little bit of coverage, but also lets the skin breathe and doesn't mask the skin in any way. For the eye makeup look, I'm gonna start with vanilla shadow as my base. And then I'm going to use black track fluid line to create the liner. I'm going to soften the liner with embark shadow. And create a soft contour with Cheeky Bronze mineralized skin finish. I'm going to create a theatrical brow, sort of an exaggerated, elongated shape using black track fluid line. We're going to use lash number 70 on Lillian. Gorgeous. And we're going to do some highlighting with double gleam right under the brow bone, onto her lid, right in the inner corner. We're going to do some contouring on Lillian with charcoal brown eyeshadow and an angled brush. Right into the cheekbone and along the jawline. And we're going to use pink swoon blush. Okay, switching sides for a moment, we're going to start on the gentleman's eye. We're going to use feline liner to create a soft, smoky eye. Close for me. And I'm pressing it against the lid, and you can be really, really messy with this because it doesn't want to be such a precise smoky eye. So once I've laid down my pencil, then I'm going to use my brush to create a really, really loose smoke around the eyelid. So the effect should be really, really lived in, and imperfect is better here. I'm going to go back to embark eyeshadow, and I'm going to just set my smoky eye with the shadow, going over what I've done with the pencil and then blending around the edges. I'm going to use Root Cream Color Base using my finger and pressing onto her eyelid for a slightly wet look. And I'm going to finish with Hush Cream Color Base along the top and the bottom of the smoky eye for some sheen and highlight. Look. Next, I'm going to create the eyebrow. So I'm going to use black track with my angled brush, and we're going to create a really theatrical brow. The trick to creating a theatrical brow is drawing individual hairs so that it mimics the natural growth pattern of the brow, but we're going to create something exaggerated and masculine. We're giving her a big, exaggerated, masculine eyebrow, and we're drawing individual hairs with the black track to create that look. Next, we're going to do a little bit of contour, again with the charcoal brown. And add a little color to the cheek using Happy-Go-Lucky mineralized blush. So next I'm going to use Shivering White, which was one of my all-time favorite MAC products. It's white, but it's sheer, so it gives a theatrical exaggerated effect without feeling heavy. So I'm going to use a brush, I'm going to pick some of the Shivering White powder up, and I'm going to apply it to the skin in like a painterly way, so we don't want it to be too solid, we just kind of want to hit the highlights around the skin. So I'm going to do a little on her forehead, a little bit on her upper cheekbone, a little bit on her upper cheekbone, down the side of the nose, across the jawline, a little bit onto the chin, and same with the other side. And we're going to continue with the skin effects with Luna cream colored base. This is going to have a similar feel. It's also really sheer, and it's going to work to give really beautiful heightened highlights to the skin. And the same idea with the powder, I'm going to do painterly highlights around the skin. And this really heightens the makeup and makes it feel quite special and just gives an amazing glow. Also going to use Pearl, which is a very similar product. And just pat those highlights on and around the skin. Using this kind of glow is a little bit untraditional for the stage. We tend to think of stage makeup as being quite matte, but I think it's a much more modern, much more beautiful take to make the skin luminous, especially for something like burlesque, when there's so much skin exposed and there's often incredible jewelry and everything's glittery. It's really, really nice to see a glow on the skin as well. Moving on to the lips, I'm going to use Burgundy pencil and to start to create a more exaggerated lip shape on the female side. I'm going to use Ruby Woo in the center of the lip. Okay, now we're going to create some specialty details. So we're going to draw a little mustache on the gentleman's side. I think it's a playful and theatrical gesture, so you can follow the natural growth pattern of a natural mustache, but also make it slightly exaggerated. We're going to slightly exaggerate the end with a little curly Q. And we'll give a little goatee. And we'll do a beauty mark on the female side, wherever you wish for this to go. Great. No burlesque look is complete without glitter, so I've got 3D silver. And I'm going to apply it right at the eyeliner open. And also right in the inner corner, open. And we're also going to use MAC red glitter right in the center of the lip. Glitter gives glamour and dimension and really just elevates the look. So we've got a few accessories to complete the look. It's something I love about burlesque. You know, we often think of it as really glamorous and risque, but also it's really quite funny and irreverent and playful, and it can subvert gender in really interesting ways. So that's what we're playing with on this look on Lilin. And now she's ready to hit the stage. This next look is going to be inspired by one of my favorite performers of all time, Josephine Baker. So we're gonna do sort of a smoky, glowy look on my model Nate. And Nate is an incredible burlesque dancer. We're so lucky to have him.
So lucky to be here. Had the honor of dancing with Company XIV, being their Nutcracker Prince.
There was a real beautiful androgyny to the 20s, and with this makeup, it's meant to really reference that. It's makeup inspired by Josephine Baker, but it's not necessarily meant to be a drag look. It's meant to just sort of be a beautiful makeup look for anybody to wear. We're going to start the makeup with strobe cream. Strobe cream gives the most incredible glow. It just makes the skin feel more heightened and polished and special. So we're gonna get that all over the skin for an amazing glow. And I'm going to mix a little bit of the face and body in with the strobe cream. So it will give a little bit of coverage, but also mix with the strobe cream for extra glow. And I love face and body because it's so sheer, so it gives a little bit of coverage, but it still lets the skin breathe. I'm using a foundation brush, and I'm starting in the center of the skin and moving outwards. I like to start theatrical smoky eyes with black track as a base. I find that it holds and helps give a really strong pigment. So I'm applying it at the lash line, and I'm going to blend up towards the crease. Josephine Baker was known for her smoky eye. She had a really sort of intense, dark, black, kohl-lined eye, and sometimes it was sort of wet and dewy. So we're just going to build layers of intensity. This does not want to be too perfect. I think sort of sooty and smudgy is better. So the next step to the smoky eye is we're going to set what we've done with carbon shadow. So I'm going to take a soft blending brush, pick up my shadow and go over what I've done, both to set the makeup and also intensify the black. So we're going over the black and blending at the edge. Okay, so we're going to set the lower lash line. I'm going to use Embark eyeshadow around the perimeter of the smoky eye. Close. This softens and gives a little bit of depth and just breaks up the black. We're going to run Embark along the lower lash line. Look up. So for the last step, we're going to use Feline liner right along the waterline. It's really going to just intensify the smokiness. Look up for me. And you can use a brush just to smudge that up. So So Josephine Baker had these incredible pencil thin brows. So we're going to create that on Nate using black track fluid line and an angled brush. When you get to the end, taper and elongate. So I'm drawing right through Nate's brow. I think it's cool and I think it's modern, and we don't have to block out the brow necessarily to create a new brow. I think the effect is really modern. Moving on to blush. The blush in the 20s sat a little higher on the cheek than we do sort of now in modern times. So that's where we're going to aim for Nate. We're going to apply Fever blush right on the upper cheek. And we want this very loose. You don't want sort of a heavy circle. We want it to feel kind of like a painterly flush on the skin. So when I'm applying, I'm almost applying like a V shape. And I'm going to add a little warmth right above his brow. I just want to see how that looks. Turn this way. And I'm just going to layer that with Flirting with Danger mineralized blush for a little sheen and dimension. So now we're going to use Cream Color Base in Hush just to hit highlights around the skin. This product is really sheer and creates really, really beautiful sheen. So I'm hitting the higher planes of his face, the bridge of his nose, a bit on the forehead, touch on the chin, cheekbones. Next is a powder from the Hyper Real Glow palette. I like to play with textures, so if we've just used a cream, I also like to use a powder highlight just to contrast the textures a little bit. And we're going to use espresso eyeshadow for a little bit of contour for the cheekbones. This way. Just a shade about 1 or 2 shades darker than his skin tone. And yes, it's complementary to the blush. So I'm going to create a really dark, intense lip with a mix of lip mix in black and antique velvet lipstick. So I'm going to alternate layers, a little bit of the lipstick with a very, very sheer pat of the black. It's really intense, so you want to use just a little bit of it, but this really, really adds a depth to the lipstick that I love. We're going to think of it a little more like a stain. It doesn't want to be too precise of an application. We do want it to be intense, but also sort of blurred at the edges. Because we don't want anything too perfect. I think with this kind of makeup, with things being smudgy and blurry, it almost looks like it's coming from within rather than something that you've put on. We're going to use MAC's Mixing Medium and Shine to add a little bit of shine on the lower lash line and also right on top of the lip. Look up for me. Just gives it a wet look. For one of our finishing touches, we're going to create spit curls on Nate. It was a signature of Josephine Baker's, and we're going to use black track to create those. So I'm going to start right in Nate's hairline, and I'm going to pull the product out and just draw on little spit curls. And a beauty mark. Where do you want one? You choose.
Oh.
Right there. So for our final steps, because he's got so much skin exposed, we're going to add some sheen and some shimmer. So we're going to use strobe cream on the chest, on his ears, arms. This highlight really brings out his, both his bone structure, and then just a little powder highlight with the Hyper Real Glow palette right along those collarbones. And a touch here. And that completes our look on Mate. Burlesque is such a heightened physical and visual experience, and having makeup that's really heightened and helps set the mood and atmosphere really completes the experience. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these burlesque-inspired makeup looks. If you'd like to see more, you can follow my Instagram at Sarah Cimino Makeup or Company XIV at Company XIV.